Hello, everybody. It's Big Jilm here at Big Jilm's Gaming Channel. It's been about a year since I've done a game room tour. It's expanded, I'd say, a bit in the last year. I'm always collecting. I never stop. Do the Facebook Marketplace thing and the eBay thing and buying and selling all the time. And I only sell my doubles because I have doubles of lots of games for different systems and whatnot you're going to see as we go on here. So I'm going to start in the retro room here. That's where I'm sitting. And we're going to show the TV setup here. Let's disconnect everything. So we got 4 TVs, 2 CRT and 2 flat screens. It used to be all CRT TVs at one time, but they die after a while. So over here on this TV, I have PS2 hooked up. Can be hooked up to a GameCube or N64 at will. Also hooked up to a Sega Genesis and Sega CD, which are under here. If you can, I don't know if I got enough light to show it, but it's under there. Got 2 Sega CDs and Sega Genesis is hooked up down here. You'll see that in a second. On this mini flat screen, currently I have the Super Nintendo Classic hooked up, and that's the demo showing right now. And you can flip it to the other HDMI channel, and you'll get the NES Classic, which I will show you right here. If I can find what I did with the remote. What did I do with the remote? Oh, right there. Just change to HDMI 1. Then you got the NES Classic stuff, and that's the demo right there being shown. I'm sure you're all familiar with those systems, the minis. And on this TV, I also have a PS2 hooked up to the mini flat screen there too. I have a PS2 hooked up to almost every TV down here. On this TV, you're going to see the NES. That's got DuckTales 2 in there. Pretty, kind of worth something game for Nintendo. And then my most recent thing that I got here is this NES mod in the back, which is that thing. And it's hooked up to a flash drive, if you can see it there. And it has every Nintendo game, every Super Nintendo game, every Sega Genesis game, every TurboGrafx-16 game, every Game Boy game, every Game Boy Color game, every Game Boy Advanced game, and then it has like 50 PS1 games on it. It's kind of crazy. It was advertised only having all Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, and it ended up having all that extra. And I only paid $100 for it, so it was a pretty damn good deal. And I don't know why my NES Classic loves doing this, but it just powers off by itself. And I gotta unplug the thing from the back, and then plug it back in, because it loves doing this. And then it'll be fine, right? Now you're gonna work. I don't know, for some reason it just turns off after a while, and you gotta do that trick or it won't work. I don't know, it's been like that since I bought it. Bought it used, so what can you do? You got Splatterhouse, the original for Turbo, playing there. And that is one side of the game room for you. Now we're going to go to this wall. I got a bunch of toy stuff. I got like a little war going on between G.I. Joe figurines, and you got the Ninja Turtles in there, and Bill's cards from the 1990s, and Matchbox cars, all my toys from when I was a kid and shit. And you got this thing, which is the Nintendo toy box from like the 90s. Got Mario 3 on it, and Super Mario and Zelda pictures, and you got my tribute to Dragon games here: Double Dragon 2, Castle of Dragon, Flying Dragon, my hockey pucks and stuff from when I was a kid on it. And what's in the chest? A bunch of games that don't play, mostly PS1 and PS2 games. So if I ever get a disc burner, or not a burner, a cleaner, which those things are like thousands of freaking dollars, I'll get these games cleaned and hopefully get them working one day, if I ever get the money to spend on something like that. Over here is kind of a unique corner. Got some Wii CDs that were singles. Rush. These DVDs over here, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Chez St. John horror comedy. These DVDs are worth $300 to $600 to any person at any given time. I got into it because I like horror comedy shit, and the artist is dead. And they're rare. It only came out in like 2010 or 2011, and there's only so many of them printed, and it draws people to my eBay site. That thing gets views, and then all my other games get views, so it's kind of a marketing ploy type of a deal to get people to look at my eBay. But I've sold them. Those are 2 that I'm keeping there, and I have another one upstairs that I have listed on eBay. Trying to get anywhere from $300 to $500 for it. The last one I sold for $250, but I gave someone a deal. And it ended up selling to someone like in China or something. Yeah, it was weird. Some CIB NES games. Oh yeah, there's Jeopardy over there and stuff too. And then you get all the start of my PS2 collection. This is like from Z to N. One of my bigger collections, you'll see in a second. More CIB Nintendo games and whatnot. You got a Banjo-Kazooie for N64 down there, CIB. I don't know how I get them to stand up on the wall like this, but it does. They rarely fall down. It's fallen down from vibrations of my drum lessons. That's about it. But I can usually get them to stand back up. That's what she said. Some games for sale, some NES games there that I have double copies of, Popeye being one of them, with the manual, worth about like $70. So trying to get rid of that to the next lucky buyer, because I have like three copies of them. This power pad I just picked up for $10. I think only one side of it works, but it's kind of more like just a display piece at this point. I'm going to buy another one, like an actual one that I know works, but a buddy of mine sold it to me for $10, and I know the number side works, because I tried it on a game that uses it, and it works. This shelf is more like miscellaneous. That's where all my PS2s that don't really play games are, the mini ones that suck. And that's an original Xbox 360, Sega CD thing that doesn't work, and then like a couple other cool games here: Diddy Kong Racing, CIB, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, CIB. That's a really good copy too. It's like flawless. Oh yeah, and these TVs. This TV, I should say, hooked up to a Sega CD and Sega Genesis, and a Nintendo, and a PS2. Just don't have it on at the moment. But yeah, I get a lot of games and I test a lot of games. So at any given time, you know, I'll be testing one on another, playing a game on another. Start of my NES loose collection up here. Some games have manuals, some do not. I'll show you the rest of it really quick. So this is like A to C, Abidax to Chubby Cherub. Like, I got some good NES games. Oh, and then this over up here is like my tribute to Doom corner in Resident Evil. With Resident Evil 3, the Doom long box with Doom 1 and Doom 2, Final Doom, tribute to Castlevania a little bit too, because of Castlevania Chronicles being there. You got Die Hard for NES with the manual, probably worth $200, $300 any given time. And then here's the rest of my loose NES collection. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible because I have so much shit to show. This is letter C, Clash at Demon Head, to Gunsmoke on the first tier. And then we got Gyrus to Metroid on the second tier. And we go to this shelf. And you got Metroid to Shadowgate there. And then we go to this shelf, which is Snake, Rattle, and Roll, all the way down to Sonic, which is the loose game there. And yeah, I have 5 more to put in the stack. This is why it takes me forever, because I have so many freaking loose NES games. But trying to get as many as possible. Here's my Sega collection, which ain't too shabby. Loose games on top. 2 tiers of boxed games. Some CIB, some not. And second tier down here. Yes, multiple versions of Sonic. They're all different, though. And that's 2 different versions of Streets of Rage 2, too. That's a, one is a not-for-resale copy. I'll show you that real quick. Hard to come by. And of course, I got to show off another gem, which is Shining Force CD. CIB, showed it in my last tour. Bought that as a kid. I loved the Shining Force series ever since I was a little guy. Beaten those games numerous times. Super Nintendo down here, which isn't a giant collection, but I got some good games for it. Some gems in there for sure. Atari, which I don't have a hookup to a CRTV or a flat screen TV. It's the 2600. I gotta find like some sort of connector because it's like so old that it only is to like the TVs that you screwed it into, which I do not have. And then here's the rest of my PS2. And yes, these are all in alphabetical order. 2 rows here, and then you got 2 tiers deep down here. Another 2 tiers deep down here. And another 2 tiers deep here. And then this is where all my PS1 stuff is. Which is a decent collection. Yeah, and I think that about wraps up the retro room. Oh, got some stuff over here that I could show. More CIB stuff. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Clay Fighter, Super Game Boy, Blades of Steel Konami Classic Series. These are all CIB that I'm showing. And I think that about wraps it up for the retro. All these boxes and bags. That has a extra Sega Genesis in it, the box. This bag has a PS2 in it, because I have way too many PS2s. And then this has my original from childhood NES in it that just died a few months ago. Rest in peace. Gonna get a drink of water and I'm gonna show you upstairs, which is my actual living room. This is in my basement, by the way. All right, let's see the upstairs. This is where I just downloaded Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, forgot I turned this on. Simpsons 1-Up machine. Simpsons Arcade. Game. The stool. I mean, it's pretty as close to the arcade as you can get. Cost me $400. I always wanted this game. And I mean, the only way you can get it is this, or on a Commodore 64. Haven't beaten it yet. One of these days, when I got some time, I will play it to the end. And finally, I beat it as a kid, with many a quarters, but not in a long time. I used to pile tons of time into this game at the arcade with other kids. Homer was my... Of course you gotta be Homer. Why would you be anyone else? And then over here is my 65-inch flat screen that I just bought a year or two ago that I barely use because I'm in the basement all the freaking time. This is game room number 2, which is my actual living room. Bunch of Xbox 360 games that I still gotta test out. Show you the systems real quick. Of course, a PS2, because I have one in every room, basically in my house. My bedroom, this room, downstairs is a bunch of them that you just saw. Xbox 360 down here. Retron 5 there. It plays a bunch of different systems. NES, Sega, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Famicom. And the PS4 Pro, which I barely play it. This is the first time I downloaded a game on it in a while, which is Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, you guys have seen the game, so I really don't got to show you the game. But that's pretty much the tour. I have way too much shit. Thank you for tuning in. If you got here by accident, hope you enjoyed the tours. Check out my glitch videos. I mess with Mario 3. And I will be soon messing with the Earthbound tent glitch. Because that's fun too. Who doesn't want to see that? It's predictable. Different every time. So, until next time, this has been Big Jim's Gaming Channel. I am Big Jim. See you later. Have a great night.